Oh, hi there.
I was not ready.
Ready for that one, bro?
I was like, oh no, what are we gonna do? I don't know what to say. Then you jump hi there. Oh, we're going, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Why do I always ask?
Breathe.
Thanks for coming back. Welcome to our International Women's Day video. I knew you'd like that. Sorry, I had to give one more. I had to do one more.
Hey, don't laugh.
Are you gonna keep talking to anybody? Alright. Welcome back to Generation Strength's YouTube series. We've gone over squat, we went through mobility, stability, upper body, lower body, and the execution. Yep. So we're gonna move on to bench. We will revisit some more squat tips, more in detailed stuff later on, but for now we're gonna move on to bench. We're gonna hammer out our pre-bench mobility and stability. So we're gonna hit you with 3 for each, so 6 total movements here. And it'll help you get all warm for bench pressing.
Feeling good.
So Ransom Lee, Amber Bob, we're gonna take it away.
All right, so we're gonna go over banded shoulder distractions. So obviously, you're gonna need a band. You're gonna need is a nice foam roller. We like to use this roller here.
What was that, sir?
Roll.
That's a rumble roller. Rumble roller.
Tongue twisters. Just because the little knobs here really help get in and hit like trigger points and little tight knots and everything you got. So Brian's gonna take this band and put his hand through it here, sit nice on the wrist. Now you're gonna want it to have quite a bit of tension here to help distract the shoulder, obviously. So he's gonna put the foam roller right up here in the armpit. So you're hitting the lat very well. Also, you're getting a bit of the shoulder, some of the tricep. What he's going to go through is some active range of motion while he's got this tension here. So internally and externally rotating. Whew. And really help creating space in that shoulder joint. Now, you're going to find spots in here that really hurt. Especially for someone who's nice and tight, this is going to help a lot. So once you find a spot that kind of sitting there, now that hurts, rest on it for a few seconds. Let it sit there. Just passively let that band pull. Let your body weight on that foam roller just kind of sit there on that knot. And just kind of keep doing that for about 10 rotations, inward, outward, on both sides, your left and right side. And I'd say go 2 to 3 sets of doing this. Really going to help if you have an elbow pain in bench press. This is a really good way to alleviate that because since everything does tighten at the shoulder, a lot of times you'll have elbow pain. It's not coming straight from your elbow. It's coming from a lot of the stuff that's in here. Your pecs, your lats, biceps, triceps, everything ties in right there.
All right, so we're going to go into the next movement here, which is actually a dowel pullover. We have Ransom here to demonstrate. So you see, he is on a roller here. These really nice, if you can get like a regular foam roller, that works really well, but these like higher up rounded foam rollers are fantastic. We also want to get away from foam rolling our lower back. So the point here is to get it up on our mid back to our T-spine. So next up, what he's going to do is he's going to ensure that his ribs are stacked. We don't want to get any sort of flaring in this because the point is to just focus on mobility and rotation of the shoulders. With the dowel, he's going to spread the dowel just as if you would with the bar, and he's going to reach back. And when he gets to a sticking point, he's going to hold.
About 10 seconds.
Yeah. And come back up. And you just go through a nice cycle of this, a 3x10, as you go through your warm-ups.
The important thing here is to make sure you're flexing down your abs while you're doing this. So, like I'm doing here, crunching my abs down and keeping tight the whole way. Not letting them loose to where you're coming back here.
Yeah, we don't want to get into extension within this movement.
No.
The whole point here is to allow the shoulders to move, reach back, find a sticking point, and break through that sticking point.
Another variation that helps here is going through that range of motion, and after a few reps that way, flip your hands over, supinating. Same thing here.
So what this does is it actually allows us to go through external rotation and internal rotation by changing how you hold the dowel.
All of this is leading to less elbow pain from low bar squat.
And the last one we're going to talk about for mobility is shoulder cars, shoulder controlled articular rotations. The key here is controlled. So the point of this movement is we're allowing the shoulder to go through internal and external rotation through a rotation. You're going to rotate, your palm is going to go back and out, all the way around. And as you get to the bottom end range, you're going to come back up. Reaching.
See how she's keeping her torso square too? The point isn't to get up here. I'm gonna go fast, but the point isn't to get up here and then try and reach back. You're going through shoulder mobility. So like, I'm not very good at these. So when I do it, and I get up here, and I turn, I try and keep my torso square, and yeah, my arm is nowhere near my body, which is something I need to work on. So that might be what you look like before you get your mobility down. Don't be like disheartened by your arm feeling like it's going
This is
rip.
really typical for a lot of people to have that issue, especially in this day and age where a lot of us work at a desk, we work at a computer, so we're going to be more hunched forward and internally rotated. The amount of people that I see that can't get through that rotation, so if you have trouble doing this, just be patient with yourself. You will get better.
Action! All right, so now we're going to go through the bottom up kettlebell press. These are a lot more difficult than you think. So you got Brian here with a pretty pink kettlebell because, well, these suck. I'm a pretty girl. Yeah. Probably want to chalk your hands because a lot of kettlebells get pretty slick, especially if you have sweaty hands. And it makes it a lot easier if you chalk up first. But notice here, his wrist and elbow are stacked. So trying to get it actually a little more in line. You want to keep that the whole time. That's the key. Slow and controlled here. So Brian is going to press up here, and as he gets to the top, he's going to rotate his shoulder, just like so, and also press up again. Reaching up. Then it comes down. The key thing here is to try and keep your elbow and wrist in line. Slow and controlled. This is going to work a lot on all, the little muscles in your shoulder, and trying to keep stability here. A lot more difficult than you think.
Yeah,
exactly. So you don't need a lot of weight to work on this.
No, keep it moderate and conservatively press upward.
Yes. Moving too fast, like Brian will show you here. If you're moving too fast, you're not going to be in line. A lot of times
you're probably gonna flare out here and just start
flare out. It's just
you're also not putting the focus into the muscles that you're supposed to be putting focus on.
Exactly.
So you got your anterior delt, you also got your serratus anterior, your lats also going to be used in this.
This might
Stabilize.
when you first hit these, your serratus is gonna fire.
Yeah, you'll actually feel your lats and serratus quite a bit doing this, trying to keep everything controlled and bringing it down slowly and tight to your body while keeping everything nice and in line.
Low weight. This is warming up. You don't gotta we're not trying to break any records here. We're trying to get ready to break records.
Yep. So doing like 2 sets of 10 on each arm is a really good way to start with these.
All right, this next one for scap. Oh my God. Sorry. I should have said stabilization. My brain.
I'm very Canadian, dude. 3 sorries in a row.
God give me strength.
Sorry.
Rewind. Yeah.
Scap activation.
All right. So the next one we're going to move on to for stability is scap activation. Brian here is going to demonstrate, and he's going to get into a push-up stance. Now, if you can't hold this position, you can do this in quadruped, which you're just going to have your knees on the ground. So from here, what he's going to do is he's going to go into retraction, squeezing my finger, and he's going to go into protraction. So what this is doing is actually working on strengthening his retraction, which is very important within the bench press. And as he goes into protraction, he's actually mobilizing and creating more space up through his thoracic spine.
Key here too is, notice as Brian's doing this, he's keeping his arms locked. You don't want to actually end up bending them. It's not an actual push-up. Think of it as like you're trying to do a shrug. So you're in a push-up position and you're just trying to shrug from a push-up position. So that's essentially what we're doing here. So we're doing a shrug and coming down, keeping your arms nice and straight the whole time. Not bending them, not a push-up, not what we're trying to do here. Nice and straight, isolating the scapular motion.
Finally, we are going to do my favorite one. This one is, so for someone that is new, this is going to be a really good learning experience for you. Now, the kettlebell windmill really challenges our ability to resist force in an upward rotation of the scapula. So what Ranson is going to do is he's going to get the kettlebell up, press it overhead. He wants to keep it nice and close to his ear, and he's going to get into a relatively wide stance here. Now, what's important here is to watch the kettlebell. As he does this, he's going to hinge back and rotate down. Now, for somebody that has never done this before, that's actually very good. Now, what you did notice is he did bend at the knee here, and we want to try and not do that if we're in a standing position.
Okay.
So we want to hinge on the side where the kettlebell sits, and if you can get to the floor, great. If not, eventually we'll get there. Put this down. Now, if you're unable to do that, we can get into a regressed version where you're going to get into a half kneeling position, and you're going to hold the kettlebell just like you were in the standing. And this is much easier to do because you have less space to extend to, and you're going to reach and just tap the floor.
So for mobility scrap like me, that's what you do.
So what this is doing is it's challenging the stability of the scapula, the serratus anterior, and it's also putting your thoracic spine through an extension that we typically don't go into. And not just extension, but also rotation. So this is a very multifaceted movement, which is one of my very favorites, not just to do for bench, but you can do it for squat, bench, and deadlift, because all of those muscle groups work for all those three lifts.
Begin.
Hey!
Okay. So anyways, thanks for coming back to our YouTube channel and taking a look at our new video on not squat, bench mobility and stability. So now we're going to move on to the setup of the bench press next week. We'll go over that in a new YouTube video posted next Friday.
So stay tuned.
For more awesomeness.
I can't believe you're from